What was the first street clip you got that at the time anyways you were really stoked about it?
Ooh, gosh, the first street clip I got that I was stoked on. That's a great question.
Thank you so much.
I would say the hippie jump over that like kind of famous hip in LA. You know the one I'm talking about?
Yeah, the really crusty one that you like hit the curb right after.
Yeah.
And then you push downhill all excited.
Yeah. I would say that's like the one where I was the most hyped to get. There's definitely some before that, but that's like the most memorable one that I was like, yeah. You know, I had very few times I had to go back to things at first, you know, but then as I started like pushing myself a little bit more and getting more familiar with street, I feel like I had to go back. And that time I went back, I think that was my second time I landed it. But again, I wore the same outfit. But there's like kind of an Easter egg in there because you'll see in one of the clips, the first slam, I think, I didn't have a chain on. I didn't have my chain on. But I came back and I had the chain on when I landed it. So you can kind of see it. But I'm wearing the same outfit. So you like, unless you're looking really closely, you won't be able to tell. So it's two different days.
Welcome back, friends. Today we're sitting in Studio P, aka my dining room with a skateboarding icon. Our guest today has traveled the world skating contests, filming video parts, and taking epic slams. She also has her own podcast called No Big Deal, featuring some of the biggest names in skateboarding, including Alyssa Steamer and Deshaun Jordan. Welcome to the show, Stillwater legend, Nicole Hause.
What's up?
That's like the actual way to pronounce
Hause.
it, right?
Yeah, you know, the German way. Hause.
Yeah. So when was the first time you visited Germany, and was it like weird asking people how to pronounce your name, or how did that even come up?
No, I was so excited to ask them. Really, it started, I went to these contests in Sweden, and they would always say Nicole Hause. And then I was like, when I go to Germany, I need to ask them. So I went there. I was only in Germany for 24 hours, but it was during the Nike Gizmo like premiere tour. So we were there for a very short amount of time, but we were walking down the street and I was like, wait, perfect time to ask a German person, how do you say this name? And they're like, Hause.
What was the first time that you left the country and we'll go back to telling like some of the story arc, but what was the first time you left the country for a contest? Because you were skating contests, like pro contests from when you were like 15 still in high school.
Yeah, that's correct. The first time I left the country was when I was 18, and it was like my senior year of high school. And I went to Malmo, Sweden for the vert attack contest out there, which is, obviously a huge vert contest out there. And they have kind of themes every year, and it was really fun. So yeah, it was the first time I left the country. My parents came, and we were in Malmo, Sweden. We were kind of feels like Minnesota here.
Sure.
Like, it kind of didn't feel that different. We also went in March, I think, March or April. So it was still cold there. It was like 40 degrees or whatever. Yeah. So that was my first out of country experience.
That's a pretty cool place to go though. Because most people just go to Mexico or Canada or whatever.
Exactly.
First time I left the country was Japan, which was kind of intentional. I was like, I want this to be like a real culture shock when I go to like have the adventure. Yeah. So that's dope. You got to do that. All right. So I usually start the same way. In your own words, who are you and what are you passionate about?
Wow. In my own words, who am I? Jeez, why does that feel tough?
It's a very open-ended question on purpose.
Yeah, I guess who am I? I feel like I'm kind of like a small town girl. Like I value things that are like simple and nice, and I value friendship and having fun and being a good person. It's kind of like how I feel. Like I've always liked to be fair, and I'm not very confrontational, I wouldn't say, or like, you know, hard to get along with. I think I'm pretty easygoing. And what was the second part of that?
I just said, who are you and what are you passionate about?
Oh, what am I passionate about? I'm passionate about being creative in like all forms, I think, like, and kind of having my own thing. Like, I really care about like doing things my way and like having it feel and look how I want it to be, I would say.
When did it click for that? Because at the beginning, for the whole first portion of your career, all the way up to like getting on the Olympic team and whatnot, there's really not that much creativity involved. You're kind of just like following what you're supposed to do, and your mentors and everything else, as well as just like brands you skate for are telling you what to do. Obviously now, looking at all the stuff that you put out, like you do have your whole personal brand, but back then you did not.
Yeah, I feel like I guess I just didn't have a platform to like showcase it. I feel like I felt like I always like something I really feel passionate about is like creative directing or creative like design. Like I can't do art, but like I can like see what I want and like you know, have a vision for what the like, you know, process of marketing will look like. Like I have like, I guess kind of like a creative directing marketing side of me that I feel like I've really gotten to know better through like being on Real and having the opportunity to help design the boards and help do kind of promo for it. And same with like the Nike stuff. Like I guess all these little collabs and colorways I've got to do has kind of helped me be like, yeah, this is what I love. Like styling too, like putting like who's gonna wear this for the shoot, or like just having like a whole like image. I even like feel like skate spots in general too. When I started skating more street and like did less contests, I could actually like go to a street spot and be like, whoa, I want to wear like this outfit with it or whatever,
But you can't really do that when it's international on a road trip, right?
Yeah.
Do you ever get to a spot and you're like, I want to get this trick, but this just what I'm wearing isn't going to work?
You know what? If I don't get the trick in the outfit, sometimes I'm like, okay, well, I want to come back here and I know what I want to wear. Like maybe I didn't get it. Maybe I didn't get it because it's like not the right outfit.
Have you heard of any of the times where photos were ran of tricks that weren't done and then people went back? Because Chaz had that happen. I interviewed Chaz Ortiz recently and they ran, I forget which company it was, but ran an ad of him doing a varial heel flip down that 5 block in Atlanta.
Okay.
And he hadn't landed it.
Yeah.
And his part was coming out in a week. And so he called up his sponsors and was like, dude, fly me out. And so he flew back out with the exact same stuff so it would look like it was the same day when it wasn't. And thankfully he got it so he didn't get Ryan Shecklered. But
right, yeah. I definitely hear of that happening. Yeah, I feel like that's pretty common, honestly. I've never personally done that, I don't think, that I can remember. But I have definitely done the thing where it's like, I had a lot of slams or something, or I really like that outfit, so I'll wear that outfit every time I went back to the spot. So then you can use all the clips too.
So you don't know which day it was. Okay, right. So let's get talking about slams. I guess we'll go earlier. What is the first big slam that you had? Was it on your vert ramp in your barn?
The first big slam I had? Oh, I feel like this one's pretty bad. This one's bad. No, I would say it was like my whole life, like even before I skateboarded, I was always like, the school nurse would be like, I'm going to put you in bubble wrap. Like I was always going to the nurse's office for like falling off like the playground or getting hurt doing something. So I have a long history of just like getting broke off kind of, But the first like really bad slam, I would say, that just came to my head, I was at Lake Owen and there was like one of those wooden Wally triangles and I was probably like 10 or 11. I didn't really know the mechanics of walling. Yeah. And I had been hurt for some reason, like my shin or something I had hurt. I was just only like 12. Like imagine being hurt at 12. But they were having like a Wally contest or something. They're like, Nicole, if you Wally over that, like first try, we'll give you bearings. And I just went at it so fast. And I didn't like lift up timing wise or whatever. I just hit the triangle and I went and did the splits and like crotched a triangle really, really hard to the point where like I was like bleeding. Oh, no. I had to go to the hospital. I had to see like multiple doctors because they were like not sure if they're going to have to drain. It was like so bad. And that's like probably my worst. That's still probably like, one of my worst ones because it was just so like traumatizing. Like, obviously boys sack rails and know how that feels, but I feel like it was just a wooden triangle. It was not the vibe. Yeah. Like I almost had to get stitches. It was like a whole thing. And I just remember that was probably my worst first injury.
Well, shout out to Lake Owen. I went and skated there a few times just for free because I knew some of the people there, whatever. We have a cabin that's like pretty close to that, maybe like 20 minutes away. Nice. Lake Owen was like the Woodward of the Midwest. Yeah. And at one point it was half gymnastics, half skateboarding. Yep. And I know that you did gymnastics at one point in time. Was it still a gymnastics thing when you were there? Were you like pressured by your parents? Like maybe I should do a week of this, week of that?
My parents kind of knew at that point that I was over gymnastics. I did gymnastics from 2 to 9 and they were like, towards the end, they could see that I was just kind of like, not like looking around, not really like paying attention. And then like the gymnast people wanted me to go like more times a week and do like more training or whatever, and they were just like, you don't want to do it? And I was like, no, I'm over it. And then I found skating right after that, and it was kind of like once I found skating, everything was like secondary. Like I even really liked basketball, and I like didn't play basketball anymore.
I think I saw a clip of you shooting a basketball. Did you compete in the bunt thing? In the like little tournament, or what was this thing that I saw where you were on a team playing 3v3?
Oh, that was in Copenhagen last year.
Sick.
Yeah, that was really fun. I am going to go to the bunt this year, though.
I'm going to try to avoid telling the same stories that we talked about or that you talked about on the Nine Club,
Cool.
which the Nine Club's the coolest podcast in case anyone ever thinks like, oh, what's with the... Yeah, I've interviewed some of the same people and they do it better than me. Because they're dope, dude.
Hey,
Shout out
I
Nine
don't
Club. No, when they started, I remember watching the first episode of that and I looked up trying to find where I could get contact and I found an email for Chris Roberts.
Wow.
It was like Chris Roberts 8000 at Hotmail or something.
Sick.
I think it was a Hotmail one. And I sent him an email saying like, dude, how do I get Nine Club t-shirts for my skateboard shop? And he was like, no one's ever asked us for merch before. I don't know. We don't have any. And I was like, well, keep me posted, dog. And now like they give out all the merch. So I've been rocking with them, or they don't know me, but I've watched their things since the beginning. So
That's cool.
yeah, shout out the Nine Club. So you were young. You started skating when you were, like 10. By 12, you were skating pretty heavily. There's a lot of confusion in my brain from that age until 18, because you moved to LA when you were 18, but there's all these stories of like you being out in California doing a Subway commercial that I watched. I know that you were like pursuing acting at some point, but then you were also like skating pro contests by 15, hanging out with Cara Beth, but you still graduated from like high school here.
Yeah.
So like, can you clarify what some of that looked like? Because I don't really understand.
Yeah. So really how I first went out to California is I like was part of this like acting group that went out there. Like,
from Minnesota?
From Minneapolis, yeah. So really, like, I went to this mall. It all started at this mall, I think Maplewood Mall. And you know those kiosk people that are like, you want to be on Disney Channel or whatever. And I just put my name in a thing. Then the acting school called us, whatever. I started going to acting classes for some reason. I don't even know why, because I don't even really care about that. I think my dad was kind of like encouraging me to just like try something different. So I went and did it. They then had like a whole group that went to LA and performed in front of all these agents, like acting agents. And then like I ended up getting signed with a really big acting agent out there, like a really big commercial agent. So then the commercial agent was like, you should come out here during pilot season. So I went out there during pilot season, and then I was like, wait, there's all these skate parks here. And I would just skated and didn't really care about acting as much. So then I ended up going to a clinic in in Venice Beach. I went to like a clinic, all-girls skate jam clinic, which then there was only like 3 girls that showed up there. It was like really small in the back of a church on a mini ramp, but they were the woman who was hosting it, Patty Segovia, she was like, oh, they're doing a big Vans clinic at the Vans skate park in Orange County. There's going to be like 40 girls there. You should come to that. She invited me to that, and that's where I met Cara Beth and Mimi Noop. And I was like, yeah, probably 11 or 12 then. I think it was 2010 or something I went there. And then I met them, and then I just kind of like clicked with Cara Beth, I would say. And then she kind of like would help me with tricks and mentored me, I would say. So then it started, instead of me going out there for like acting or whatever, I just went out and like would skate with her and hang out with her.
How often were you doing that though?
Like once a year. Yeah. Like,
okay, so not that much really.
Once or twice a year, but for like 3 weeks to a couple months. Like I would go out there for a while. Yeah. My parents would just like write a note to the school and say like, she's like training or whatever. They'd unenroll me and re-enroll me.
Really? Just to avoid you being held back for the year or whatever?
Yeah. So I would do like my work or whatever I had to do. But I would just go out there for a couple months. And then when I was 15, Cara Beth got me into the Girls Combi Pool Classic. And that was my first contest I ever did. And then I ended up making it to finals and doing good there. So then I was kind of like on the map. Sure. So like around 15 is when I really started to just kind of, and I was like older, so I could kind of like go and do my own thing a little bit more. My parents came out with me at first, but once I was like 16, it was like sometimes I would just like go and hang for a couple weeks with Cara Beth or like whatever.
That's still so young.
Yeah.
You know, like my kids are going out to visit my sister in New York City, and they're 13 and 9, and like I still feel uncomfortable when my 13-year-old is getting on the plane.
Yeah.
Even though
so
I know
fair.
my sister's like picking her up, I'm still like, Dude, New York's a big city for like a
Yeah.
13-year-old.
So
Thankfully,
fair.
yeah, my sister is very responsible. So I heard that you were skating Tony Hawk's ramp from when you were pretty young. Do you remember the first time that you went to that ramp? What was that story?
Yeah, through Carabeth again. She was like, "We can take you. Like, I could go to Tony's ramp, whatever. He has a private vert ramp." So yeah, I was probably 13 by then, 12 or 13, like around that age. It was like 2010, 2011. That would have been. Yeah, I was like 12. So yeah, that was really exciting. Like Tony Hawk was there.
Oh, he was there the first time?
Yeah, he was there the first time. And yeah, he was helping me with my frontside airs. At that time, I couldn't do late grab frontside airs. I was still doing early grab frontside airs, like halfway up the ramp. Yeah, and his stepson Miles was there, who was also really funny. He was hilarious. I still like know Miles to this day. Like I see him in LA and stuff, which is funny. He's all grown up.
At the time, were you thinking anything of the fact that you were with Tony Hawk?
Yeah. Yeah, I was nervous. He asked me, I can't remember. He asked me where I was from or something. And I think I stuttered. Like I was like stuttering. I was definitely nervous the first time I met him. But I also feel like I'm one of those people that just, I'm kind of like more excited about skating than anything. Like, and I didn't really grow up praising skateboarding or praising people, I wouldn't say, like skateboards in the industry, because I was so like in my own world. There wasn't that many kids that skated in Stillwater. I didn't really have any friends that skated in Stillwater. So it wasn't like we're all watching Fully Flared together or we're all like nerding out over this. Like I was just skating to skate and I wasn't like focusing on the people who were skating. So, I mean, Tony Hawk's obviously someone I knew from video games and skating, but I wasn't like, I don't know. I haven't got super starstruck in skate. I get more starstruck in skating now because I know more than I did back then. You know, back then I was kind of just like a kid and just like, I want to skate.
Yeah, you didn't put people up on a pedestal for years and years and years.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, because you were so young when you got involved and you were around major people from really young. So when did the Hoopla thing happen? Because that was your first like real board sponsor, right? And was that Carabeth and Mimi who owned it, or who all owned it?
Carabeth and Mimi Noop, they were the co-founders of it. And then it was like under Skate One distribution.
Okay. So, which does 187 and ProTech, right? So like pads?
No, they do Powell. It's
Powell Bones. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So like around 15, Carabeth and Mimi were like, we want to send you boards.
So you were already skating the pro contest and you weren't getting boards at all from anyone?
It was like right around the same time. Like I did the pro contest and they probably gave me boards around that same time. Like, cause I remember I did the Girls Comedy Pool Classic 2013. It was in January. And like I was playing basketball, but then they were kind of like, if you want to go to this contest, you like shouldn't play basketball. So I just like ended up quitting basketball, going to this contest. And yeah, they probably sent me boards like during that, like for that contest or something. Like I can't remember exactly my first box, but it was around that time.
So were you on from like when Hoopla was formed? Because I don't remember when Hoopla started. Or was it something where it's like there was already a crew and you got invited to start hanging out with everybody?
That's such a great question. I think it was started a little bit before me. For sure, before I was 15. Maybe I started getting boards before 15. Gosh, now it was so long ago at this point. But yeah, I think they formed like maybe 2010, 2011. So yeah, probably a few years later. But I think Nora was already on the team. Alicia Lee was on the team.
Samaria,
I think, was already on there. Yep. Some like people from overseas. Evelyn Bolliard, I think is her name. Alana Smith. Yeah, so it was already kind of a pretty hefty team. And I was just like flow at first, you know, there wasn't really... I was just like, I was just finding my like style, I think, still for a long time. And before I was actually like kind of good at skating.
Yeah. Well, I mean, people don't like fully develop till they're 25.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
It takes a long time. And it's funny. I was like rewatching all like old footage of you and stuff. And I watched that documentary and it's just like, you had to grow up in front of a camera. You know, thankfully there's like not that many photos of me going through awkward phases, but yours is all out there. And I'm like, she would not wear those pants at this point. She would not wear that polo at this point. It's a really funny like contrast between those two time frames. So Hoopla was like way ahead of its time. Just to be honest, because women's skateboarding, like I'm older than you, I'm 36, but women's skateboarding didn't really exist until very recently, like more than like a handful of people that anyone would know of. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I knew who Alyssa Steamer was. I knew who Vanessa Torres was because of like the Element video or whatever. And then more women came along, like Marissa Del Santo when she had that, was it Strange World or whatever that zero part was. But even that at the time, I was like, I've never seen any woman huck like this. This is crazy.
Yeah.
Like, it just really wasn't a big thing. And Hoopla was a brand like where it was all the biggest women in skateboarding, but none of them were really big yet.
Yeah.
Because there just weren't really big names in skateboarding at that point, you know, with women. What's your favorite memory from hanging out with all the Hoopla girls?
Oh, man. Wow. We did this one trip. There's like 2 trips that really stand out to me. It's kind of like maybe the only trips I really did with them because, you know, there wasn't much of a budget or anything to do anything. But we did one trip that was like 2 days to Palm Springs. And I don't know if you're familiar with the blog cams.
No, I don't think so.
Oh my God, the blog cams were the best. There was some like OG. We had like hundreds of thousands of views on this.
Is that the like
Girls
skate girl?
Network.
Yeah. That was on the documentary you talked about.
Yeah. So we filmed a couple of those in Palm Springs, and that was just really fun. That was kind of my first taste of like a skate trip, I would say. That was crazy. And we also went to Woodward, Tahoe, and that was also really fun. Yeah, just like all being together and driving around skating spots. Like that was my first kind of taste of like real skating, I would say.
Did you stay close in touch with like a lot of those girls? Or was it one of those things where it's like you all dispersed and then all of a sudden you see Samaria years later and it's like, I haven't talked to you in 4 years and now you have a like board on Enjoy? Well, you know what I mean?
No, we all stayed pretty close. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, definitely. Like I still talk to Samaria. Yeah, we all stayed really close. There's no one I wouldn't say, you know, or would say that like we lost touch really. It was kind of like, especially at that time too. And, you know, like over the years, it seems like there's a girl on every brand and we're kind of all spread out, which is like, I feel like the next phase of like women's skating and like evolution is like, there's going to be more than one, like Toy Machine has more than one girl or whatever. But yeah eventually I feel like there's going to be a time when it's like not as spread out. Because I feel like in the very beginning of like Nora getting on Welcome and Samaria getting on Enjoy, it was kind of just like, okay, every team needs one of you. Like, like everyone from the Hoopla team went somewhere else.
Sure.
Which was fine. I think it's like how it starts, you know, and whatnot. But yeah, I think like now that's kind of the idea of Loop Hardware too, is to like get everyone in the same space again, kind of, because we're all separated.
Did you ever really talk to each other as far as like advice with things with working with brands and whatnot? Because that's been a whole thing with like women's sports in general of being like drastically underappreciated, underpaid and whatever. Well, when you're going through contract negotiations or you're like, should I, you know, work with this brand or that brand? I don't know what I'm supposed to get paid. What's really a going rate? Not that many people really have agents that know what they're talking about in that thing because there's not that many women skateboarders getting paid. Were you know, when you're signing with Nike, were you texting Nora like, does this number seem right? Or
yeah, kind of. Yeah, definitely Nora's someone that I look to because she's kind of like at the forefront of like doing a lot more brand deals than like any women have done. Kara Beth too, like I mean, she grew up in like a different era too when like skateboarding was making more money because there was like less people. You know how like when the board brands first came out, they were making like $500,000 a year because it was just like there's only 3 board brands to choose from. Now there's like 300 or whatever. Yeah. So Kara Beth a little bit, Nora a little bit. Mimi Noop is also super knowledgeable. But it definitely is something that like I still feel this way now. It's like I always tell women like, no, ask for this or ask for what the guy's getting that's like comparable to you and like ask for that amount too. You know? So yeah, we definitely all like work together, I would say, to make sure like everyone's getting a fair amount. And I still feel that way too. Like the girls that are coming up below me, like I want them. I like push the limits so that they don't have to kind of too with that. And just like, yeah, make it a little more even. And the Olympics happening, all that stuff, and equal prize purses and whatnot, that all came kind of from the Olympics stuff. And,
whoa.
Oh. Hello.
Sorry about that.
No worries.
That's never fallen over before. It must have been waiting.
so funny. It was waiting for me.
Yeah, well, we'll
No
just
worries.
leave it where it's at, I think. Yeah?
It's happy there.
All right, cool, killer. Yeah, my one plant that's not doing so well. Wow, well, that threw me off a little bit. That was wild.
That was funny.
So I think things in the industry have evolved. Obviously, like I know a lot about the industry because I owned a skateboard shop for 10 years. So like I've kind of witnessed and seen all of it.
Yep.
Did you think anything of it at the time when you got an offer and started skating for Nike, but you weren't like solidified with a like real board brand? Because it used to be the opposite. It used to be like shoe deals definitely came after you were established with the brand, but you were the opposite. You were like kind of flow for various brands. Like you didn't turn pro for real until years later.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, I think I just got lucky with the timing of everything kind of, and like where women's skating was at that time. And I think it's just so like new. It was so new in the way of like the main, I'm just like more.
Yeah, dude, my cactus is falling apart.
Yeah, I guess I wasn't thrown off because I also didn't really know what I was doing. You know, like I was just hyped that Nike wanted to sign me. Really how it happened is like I asked them, you know, I was going to Portland and I asked my agents to reach out to them. They ended up just sending me a deal, which was very exciting. But yeah, I didn't really like think about it. And at that time I was still going for the Olympic stuff and whatnot. So I wasn't like, I don't know. I guess I wasn't really, I don't know. I've never known what I'm doing. I'm just like going for it. Like I just knew I wanted to be in skateboarding and be a skateboarder, but I also have been learning about it as I go, you know? Because, and I also, like I said, it's so new for the women's side of thing. It's like, I don't know. It's like not as easy to kind of like figure out your own, you know, and kind of like figuring out my own route a little bit, what that looks like. But I would say I got the shoe deal because of Olympic stuff at the time, because it was 2018. That's when the Olympics got announced. I just like won the combi, you know, I'd won vert attack. I was kind of like doing pretty good. And I think they were like, oh, this is like easy. We'll sign her for the Olympics. And then as time went on, I mean, I couldn't like upkeep my 3 wins I had. I won Dew Tour that year. Right after I got signed by Nike, I won Dew Tour. And then, then I just like couldn't really do it any longer. And once the Olympics got postponed, and then it was like 2021, I was like, kind of like, I don't want to do this. And then I started getting real boards, and Nike was like, well, if you don't want to do the Olympics, you don't have to. Like, we don't care. Like, we just like your skating. Like, you know? So that's kind of when I started to like morph into like, oh, I want to go this other route and like learn this way of skating, because I had done the contest side for so long. So my career feels kind of like backwards and a little bit windy, I would say. And like, now I feel like I finally, like, it took me a while to learn all of this stuff, I would say, because I was learning as I was going.
Yeah. Well, I mean, honestly, any of the women at the top are all pioneers of the industry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're all the like P-Rod or the Costin or whatever, because it's you, like, who else, what other women had a colorway with Nike before you? Was it just, well, Lacey at the time, Leo now? Are they the only ones who ever had one that wasn't a guy?
Yeah. I guess so. Like Alyssa had one through her brand Nar Hunters shortly before me. I'm trying to think, did Leticia have a colorway right before me with the Janoski? But yeah, like as far as a dunk colorway, I don't think there was another female that had one.
But that's what I'm saying is like with men's skateboarding, it's like there's so many examples to look from,
right?
You know, and then the point of how evolution works, obviously, is you copy, and then you're like, well, now that I did that, let me push to the next little step. But that's why it like takes a while, right?
Yeah.
So you were the first person to have, and I guess we can jump into the dunk. Well, no, let's talk about that more later. But with the dunk, anyways, was like you were the first person to have it where it wasn't just a colorway.
Yeah.
It's like you really took it to another level of like, this is your whole release party and everything. Yeah. Like no other shoe looks quite like this. Mm-hmm. They're taking a chance on you to actually try something totally unique. Yeah, it was super dope. So talking about getting on Real, I guess, when was your first trip with Real, and was that slam that was heard around the world on that first trip?
Oh, I need like a bath. Yeah, it was. My first trip with Real was May 2021. So
Okay.
yeah, the timeline of that is kind of like I hit them up in January 2021. I was like, hey, I would like to be on Real. Like, I'm like, I don't know how to do this, but I would like to be on the team or, get boards or whatever. And pretty much at that time, I was still coming out of COVID. So he was like, we can send you boards, but like kind of no promises, whatever. So I was like, okay. So got a box. Then maybe a couple months later, they invited me to like this DIY out in Riverside. And I went and I like brought beers and hung out and whatever. And I think after that, they was like, okay, yeah, let's do it. Let's like take you on a trip and whatever. I think they were like kind of stoked on me. So yeah, then I went on my first trip in May. And I ate really hard.
Yeah, right on 50/50
A
had
ride
too
on
much wax.
55, yeah, the ride on 50/50. And like now looking back at that, like again, that was my first experience really being on a real, like, no pun intended, like a actual skate trip, like, and like learning when to like keep pushing, when to give up, when to walk away, when something's worth it, when it's not. I learned so much in that year. But yeah, that was my first real trip, and I got a couple bowl clips or something. And then like I wanted to skate street. Like I still like love skating street. I think that's like so cool, and like it inspires me when I see a spot that I want to skate. But yeah, that ride on grind, I was going way too fast. A, B, it was pretty waxed. The ground is terrible to land on. Like I wasn't landing like assertive enough. Like the one time I landed and got pitched forward, it was like I needed to be like stronger on my feet when I landed it. But yeah, by the time I slammed, I was so like exhausted. I think I just like slammed all crazy. But
How far into the trip was that?
that was
Was
like,
it at the end?
yeah, it was towards the end, thankfully. Yeah. So I got a couple clips or whatever. And then, yeah, I actually flew home a little bit early because there was a Nike premiere for Constant was premiering in LA. And I was going to miss that for the trip. But then I like hit my head and I was like, all right, I'm just going to fly back. And I just ended up flying back early. And
Did you try to pop up and like act cool when it happened? Like, this doesn't hurt that bad.
I definitely pop. I mean, my natural reaction every time I slam is to kind of pop up, like if I'm okay enough.
In the video, it looks like you're like laughing as they're like pouring the water, and I was like, she's a trooper. But
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes you're a little like people can be performative in that situation with all these people around them of like, I gotta like pretend this wasn't that bad, but
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah, no. I definitely like used to be more like just like I don't know, don't worry about me. I'm still like that. I probably, if no one was there, would probably act like that too. Like like it's like all a facade for myself even.
Sure.
It's like I don't know. I think I'm very much an internal person. Like I'm not like whatever problems I have, I'm not like putting them out there.
So how did you feel about getting on Hall of Meat? Was that the like highlight of your career at that point where you were then kicking your feet back and forth, not being able to
Oh
breathe?
yeah, that was in the bottom of the bowl. That was a highlight of my life. Yes. And I'm actually just so glad like I didn't actually get hurt that. Because again, like I had been trying the ollie to fakie for a while. It was really hot in San Diego that day. I get like heat exhaustions in the heat, and I was like felt like I was getting sick because I was like trying for so long. And then yeah, I'm like just so lucky I kept my head up. Like I just think about like if I would have just let my head go back and would have hit my head like that hard, who knows,
Dude, career could have been over in an instant before it really got going.
Exactly. But I knocked the wind out of myself so bad. And yeah, I definitely felt stoked to have a Hall of Meat. I was like, all right, life goal. Like for some reason, that's one of the life goals I had.
Now you got to get it covered.
Yeah, a cover would be nice. But
Before we moved totally away from Hoopla, I think the first time I ever saw you was that Thrasher. I guess it wasn't technically a Thrasher video. It was like an NHS video or whatever. The Don't Grab My Boob video with
Yes.
Nora and everybody.
yep.
How did that all come together, and how did it feel when you saw you had last trick in the video when you were not the most famous person in there?
I know. Yeah, it's actually a funny story because I wasn't even supposed to be on that trip.
Really?
But Nora vouched for me. So yeah, like on the flyers and stuff, I'm not even on the flyer because they didn't want to bring me because they didn't really know who I was. And Nora was like, pretty much, if you don't bring her, I'm not gonna go.
Were you living with her at the time?
Yes.
Okay.
And they were like, you have to bring Nicole. So it was kind of ironic that I ended up getting like the ender because she was like, see, like I told you. And then at the end they were like, oh, she's really sick. Like we didn't know kind of thing, which I feel like is kind of a pattern in my life. Like I really have always had to like overprove for someone to really like acknowledge, I feel like. But yeah, that was one of those times when Nora was like, you know, like, I'm not going to go. Pretty much she put her foot down, was like, I'm not going to go if you're not going to bring her. So yeah, I wasn't on any of the posters that they had like pre-made or anything. But that trip was really like, yeah, I really wanted to like go there and prove myself. And I feel like I did, which really, I was stoked on. 2018 was a good year for me overall. I feel like a lot of things changed and yeah, I made a lot of, you know, like waves for myself in my career, I guess.
How old were you at that point?
I must have been 8 years ago. I was 20. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So not too long after you moved to California and you were like, this is gonna be a career. Well, at what point did you realize like this for sure is going to be my career? Or I'm like fully committed to this being a career?
I think around like 17, I kind of was like, all right, I'm just gonna go try. Because I was really looking at colleges and stuff up until like 17, 18. Then I was kind of like, I think I'm just gonna try to do this. And I got money from the Subway thing, so I was like, I have like a year of like I can figure this out kind of thing.
Can
like,
you say how much you got paid for that Subway commercial? Because all you do is like sandwich,
sweet onion chicken teriyaki, and more.
Yeah,
like,
no,
like
I got paid so I got paid like a day rate or whatever that was. I don't know, it was probably like $1,000 or something because I had like 2 days of shooting. I filmed so much skating that I didn't use any of the skating. Yeah. So I filmed for like a whole day of skating and then, you know, had to do whatever wardrobe and stuff. I ended up making $30,000 from it. Yeah. And that wasn't even, I would have made more if it would have kept running. But yeah, I ran like hundreds of times everywhere. And that was, now commercials work differently. You don't get paid that much anymore. You get paid just like a flat fee.
Yeah,
I
you
guess.
Don't get residuals or
you
whatever.
don't get residuals. But at that time, it was like residuals. So every time I would play, I got paid because I was in there for a certain amount of seconds, I guess.
Like 2?
Yeah.
I mean, unless there were like multiple length like versions of it. The one I saw, it literally was you sitting in the bottom of a bowl and you just
that, yeah. So
you needed those acting classes for that to happen.
It ran for like a year and a half, and yeah, I made like $30,000 or something. And then yeah, the whole Jared Subway thing happened.
When did the Nike thing come in? Was that after the Subway thing?
Yeah.
I guess how old were you when you got that Nike deal?
It was 2018, so I was like 20. Yeah.
Okay, so that was after you had already moved out and you're like, I'm gonna try to make this
Yeah, and pretty much how I kind of made it work the first, like, because I moved out July 2016, and it was like I had Subway money, and then it was like
I got that Subway money.
The Subway money, and then I was going to like little contests everywhere around California.
But the pay for the contest was pretty minimal, right?
Some were like starting to get. I mean, like I think I got third at like Tim Broch Memorial. I won like $1,000.
Okay.
You know, like there was like a couple little times where I would win just like $1,000, or Exposure had like pretty good prize purse. I think I won like $3,000 there. It was kind of just like I was staying afloat until like 2018, just from like little contests and stuff. And then 2017 Combi 2, I got second, which was also like $3,000 or something like that.
Did any of your sponsors like match any prize money or anything at that time?
I didn't have any. No, I didn't have any sponsors like that.
So were you really pulling your weight living with Nora? Or was she just like handling business for you and you're like, I'll pay you back later?
No. I was chilling. Yeah. No, she was like, she was paying her rent. I was paying my rent. I actually had a boyfriend at the time. We shared a room at Carabas, and she wasn't. I feel like in a lot of ways, I was maybe more of an adult than Nora when it came to like house stuff.
Sure.
She was easy to live with. I mean, but we both just paid our own.
I mean, she's crushing it on the business side. I don't know how much she's getting paid, but the stuff that she's making is rad. So,
yeah,
and I guess we could talk about her more later, but I want to hear one story from your filming of the Don't Grab My Boob video. What's one of your favorite memories from it? Is it when you guys got your pedicures, or was it a specific slam? Was it one of the sessions?
Man, favorite memories. I would say like just going back to the hotel and just being like, oh my God, we just skated all day. Cause like going on a trip with Rhino is like way different than going on any other trip. It's like 10 a.m. to like midnight, like maybe even longer. And then just so sore. Cause it's like never any stopping skating. It's like from spot to spot to spot. So I just feel like going back to the hotel room and reminiscing about how sore we were and how tired we were. And everyone was like, I was like sick on the trip, but color people were sick, but we had to like keep skating. I don't know. I think just like hanging out in the hotel room with Nora and Alicia and like just like talking about the day.
Were you guys making mimosas in the water bottles?
No, we weren't. I was smoking some weed. Oh, this is a funny story actually. Because at the time you couldn't bring weed from California to Arizona. I mean, weed was illegal in California still till like 2018 or whatever. So we were passing the border on the way home, and it's like you stop. Arizona's like super strict or whatever. So they were like, you can't have any weed in the van when you're crossing over. And I had all this weed left, and I had like had a sore throat because I was sick, and like my friend Alicia was sick too. And we were smoking it, and like we still had a lot left, and I just was like, Rhino, what should we do with this weed? And he was like, smoke it. And I was just like, no, I can't smoke any more weed. We were just hotboxing the van for like nonstop trying to smoke all this weed, and I was like, it's just funny how like I asked him what to do with it, and he just said smoke it. I think we ended up throwing it out the window because it was just like, I can't smoke the rest of this week.
It was too much to handle.
It was too much to handle. I was like high enough. I was like already slightly paranoid, and my throat was like, it felt like it was like closing up because I was so dry, like from just being in Arizona and like being sick and just skating like nonstop. It was like a really good trip of like testing, like pretty much a good intro. Like, this is as hard as it's gonna get. That's still probably one of the like harder trips I've been on.
Yeah.
Just like physically and mentally, and yeah, it was like really just, yeah, it was a pretty taxing trip, I would say.
Well, and you guys went to a lot of spots you would actually skate.
Yeah.
You know, versus like if you go with
exactly.
the real guys, some of those rails and stuff that Kyle Walker is going to, it's like,
I'm chilling.
Yeah, what am I doing here?
Yeah.
This is a snowboard rail. You're not supposed to be able to skateboard on this thing.
Exactly.
So how long was it between when you guys went on that trip before the video came out? And was there like a little premiere thing, or was it just on the internet when you found out you had Last Trick? How did that work?
Yeah, I guess that was, I must have found out at the premiere. I didn't see it before. So yeah,
Okay.
I think I got really drunk at the premiere, and I was pretty hyped. Yeah, I was hyped on the thing. And I think Nora was like, see, like she got Last Trick. Yeah.
Well, and you had Last Trick of it was like 3 songs roughly or something, because it's like 10-ish minutes. But you had Last Trick of one of the other sections too.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
Yeah, you did. I just rewatched it.
Okay.
That was tight.
Nice.
Talking about the Olympic stuff, and I want to talk about it for a long time, because obviously you ended up kind of switching your mindset on it, and you had some injuries and things come up. I watched the trick tip video that you did on their 16 million subscriber page.
Yeah.
Is that the most awkward you've ever felt on camera?
I mean, yeah, I definitely didn't know what to expect. And like, again, that was like a time in my career, I guess, where I was just like still finding myself. So yeah, whatever that shirt I'm wearing, that salmon color shirt, is terrible. I'm gonna teach you the frontside air, one of my personal favorite tricks. But yeah, I definitely think like their cues and stuff were a little bit more awkward, but I was like, whatever, they paid me to do it. It seemed like a good thing to do. A lot of people come up to me and are like, I watched your trick tip, and I was like, oh, that Olympic Channel trick tip. Like,
well, it's just funny because it's like so outside of skateboarding, and they're like, please give a trick tip, and you're like, people aren't skaters that are watching this.
yeah,
really.
so
You know what
true.
I mean?
Yeah, no, it was fine. It was pretty chill, honestly. But
so you got on Real and you started traveling with them. At this point, you're not doing a ton of contests. What was the first really scary thing you witnessed somebody else try on one of those Real trips?
yeah, probably. I'm gonna say like K-Wax isn't obvious, but Gage Boyle also. Like, I was watching him do a lot of scary rails. He tried a really scary rail in Seattle. I don't even know, 30 stairs. I don't know. It was a lot of stairs. And then he got buckled for sure. But yeah, I would just say like, there's definitely times when I've been scared for Gage and Kyle. Yeah. Kyle for sure on the ollie into that, and Malibu ollie into that like ditch thing, but it's huge. You know what I'm talking about? And he drops off like drops off something that's like 12 feet or 10 feet or something.
Sounds like half as close.
Yeah, it was so gnarly. The funny part about that spot is we got there and Tim was like, I was thinking you could ollie it into it. And I was like, Tim, you think I can ollie into this? It's like literally like the ollie isn't the trick. It's riding down the mega ramp off the like roof drop height, you know? And he was like, yeah, come on. I was like, I'm not even, and usually I'll try stuff I'm not capable of. And I was like, I'm not trying that. And then Kyle thought he was going to shove into it or do something or like, a trick, but he ended up just ollieing into it. Like, and it was so gnarly and scary.
Yeah, I remember seeing his first, like that part when he won Sodi and everything after that. I feel like that was the moment where I really looked at it like we used to call big rails snowboard rails because it was like people don't hit these on skateboards. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel like that was when that line got blurred of like, I guess any rail in a snowboard video could be hitting a skateboard at this point. If there's like even if there's not roll up,
right.
People just bring plywood and hit 40 stairs and stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah, that was wild. So you like came up in the industry skating transition, like that is why you were sponsored by all these people.
Yep.
And all of a sudden you're in the van now street skating. At what point did you make the conscious decision of like, I want to try to film a street clip and it's not going to be, because I would feel like if I was in that position, I would be embarrassed to put out a street clip at the beginning because it's like, this is not what I'm good at yet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I definitely, like, even looking back on my real video part that I turned pro in, I'm like, oh, God, like... I don't know what I was doing. Like, I didn't know... I just didn't have any control, because control on vert and bowl is way different than control on street, right? So, I don't know. I definitely think I was just, like... naive, and I don't know. I think that's, ignorance is bliss a little bit. I think I wasn't thinking about it. I think a little bit as like a girl, I had a little bit more leeway because it's like harsh. It's less harsh, I feel like, judged because it's so new. Like so much has not been done by a female on a skateboard that it's like, the baseline's a little lower. So I could meet that. And I think it's way different now. I think in the past 5 years, it's like crazy how many good women street skaters.
Yeah, when that one girl, Funa or whatever her name is, front crooked Hollywood High, and I was like, that came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know if I've ever seen a woman skate a 16 stair rail at all, let alone front crook it.
Yeah. Now there's like so many, like, for me, I'm like washed up. Like at this point, there's like no chance of me to get as good as I like want to be at street, but I do still like feel like my style and lot has gotten better.
But I mean, that's like everybody as they get older. They typically start skating a little more creative and like things just change a little bit. They're generally not hucking themselves nearly as gnarly. But yeah, I mean, like when I was interviewing Chaz, we were talking about him skating Hollywood High. And I remember when that happened, he kickflip front boarded it. And everyone talked because Nyjah had kickflip back lipped it like not long before that. How do you kickflip front board some like that rail and then have people be like, pfft.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't know. I also just kind of hate that even for guys. It's like, I just think everyone should be able to do the tricks they want to do at the spots. Like, I just think it doesn't even matter. Like,
I don't think it matters like it used to because I have seen things come around now. Before it was like, there was only a handful of videos a year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it was like any song that's been used, that's gone. You'll never use it again. Any trick that's been done, you can't do that. But now it's like so many tricks happen just on Instagram or on kind of like more obscure edits that you can't really blame a pro for doing a trick that's been done because how in the world are they supposed to know every trick that's been done?
Yeah, it's like impossible. And it's like also just doesn't even matter. Everyone just does tricks so differently, in my opinion, that it's like, I just like everyone to do whatever they want. Like, I kind of hate the rules sometimes. I'm like, just, it doesn't even matter anymore. Like, you're going to do the trick completely different. Like,
yeah, you're going to slam totally differently. So what was that slam because I heard I think you're talking on your show that you gained like 40,000 followers or something. Was that from that clip?
I gained 40,000 followers from a different slam at a skate park.
Sick.
Like, yeah, it was a manual slam. I was like manualing up this thing and was gonna like ollie off into this bank, and I like leaned too far forward on the manual and like tried to catch myself and just like face planted, kind of like did a little mini scorpion. And yeah, that got me 40,000 followers. And I literally just posted it, like not even thinking, like, I didn't know. I didn't think I was going to get 40,000 followers, that's for sure. So yeah, it was totally random that happened. I got 3,000 followers from the recent slam I just posted.
Yeah, the one that you reposted. That's
yeah.
the crazy thing, and I'll talk to you more about like reposting stuff off mic because I've something I learned more recently. But yeah, you reposted a clip from 5 years ago. It's got just about 1 million views now.
Yeah,
and it's like that's. Just
I actually never
recycling.
posted it though.
You didn't?
No, it was in the Skate Dreams documentary, but I had never posted it. So that was the first time I posted it. But yeah, I got like so much hate, but I kind of love it. I love when people hate. It's so funny.
I want to hear about the
followers.
Yeah, well, no, I mean nowadays though, I mean that is part of like the discrepancy between men and women is like before, and I was watching that Skate Dreams documentary that you were in. I understand from the like cold-hearted business standpoint of like who's going to tune into which contest more. Because of who's going to tune into it, naturally more money can go there because more advertisers are going to pay based on the number of views. However, if you don't even give people a chance to watch it, then you can't say that advertisers wouldn't advertise. All of a sudden, social media comes around and it's like, now it's just based on how many people are viewing your own channels that you have.
Right.
And so there's no like real business reason why there would be a pay discrepancy. You know what I mean? If Nora's got, I don't know how many followers she has, a lot.
300,000 or something.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
If she's got 300,000 and she posts a clip wearing, a Nike, or else she wear Adidas, wearing an Adidas shirt, and somebody else posts a clip, but they only have 50,000 followers and they get a tenth as many views wearing that shirt, who should get paid more?
Yeah.
It's not even based on what the clip was.
Right.
It's based on how many people saw what the clip was. So now you can build all of this like community and fan base and everything around you as a person, not exclusively what the skateboarding is, which has been a thing since forever. Like how many people liked Bam, not because of skateboarding.
Right, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like the majority of his followers probably liked him more for the other things other than what his skateboarding was. So you went pro, you got surprised when that video part happened, and that video is rad. You're pro! That was super cool. I never heard the story behind the sheep graphic. What was the deal with the little lamb graphic that was because they put out two, which a lot of board companies do. It was like the real oval graphic that said Nicole, which we had in the shop. Immediately when you went pro, I was like, we got to have these in the shop at the time. But there was that. But then the other one was like a little baby sheep. Yeah,
the little baby sheep. I'm trying to think. I don't think I'm really allowed to talk about it technically. So might have to pass on that. But it pretty much the bottom line is, there's like, I guess, a cease and desist.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Bummer. I figured it was like something a friend drew or something, but okay. Never mind then.
Yeah.
We'll get away from that. So let's talk. I don't want to spend much time talking about contests. I just want to hear one memorable story from a contest that isn't the Dime Glory Challenge Slam, because that was a sick video. But what's one other memory that you have from a contest that you think about?
Probably, gosh, I guess we could say X Games. The last X Games I did and maybe ever will do, I was second alternate, and I thought, this is perfect. I don't have to skate. Like, I can have fun on the course, do the X Games thing, go to the VIP lounge. And then one person got hurt and one person ended up dropping out. So then I was in the X Games and I was like, oh my God, like I didn't practice. I didn't do anything. And so I ended up they had a hot tub, and I ended up just like doing half of a line and then running it in and jumping in the hot tub.
Oh, what is Nicole lining up? Yes!
That was kind of recent, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was kind of recent. I would say it was like maybe like 2 years ago now, or 3 years ago. Something like that.
iconic,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's like those are the moments that people remember way more than whether or not you did a cab in the deep end or
Right.
or
Yeah,
whatever.
Exactly.
What was the first street clip you got that at the time anyways you were really stoked about it?
Ooh, gosh, the first street clip I got that I was stoked on. That's a great question.
Thank you so much.
I would say the hippie jump over that like kind of famous hip in LA. You know the one I'm talking about?
Yeah, the really crusty one that you
Yeah.
like hit the curb right after.
Yeah.
And then you push downhill all excited.
Yeah, yeah. I would say that's like the one where I was the most hyped to get. There's definitely some before that, but that's like the most memorable one that I was like, yeah. I had very few times I had to go back to things at first, but then as I started like pushing myself a little bit more and getting more familiar with street, I feel like I had to go back. And that time I went back, I think that was my second time I landed it. But again, I wore the same outfit. But there's like kind of an Easter egg in there because you'll see in one of the clips, the first slam, I think, I didn't have a chain on. I didn't have my chain on. But I came back and I had the chain on when I landed it. So you can kind of see it. But I'm wearing the same outfit. So you like, unless you're looking really closely, you won't be able to tell.
So
it's two different days.
Where did the inspiration to start using chain wallets and stuff come back from? I was surprised when that trend came back around.
Yeah, that's a great question. I don't even know. I think I just started to get into silver jewelry and chains, and then I just like found this like chain belt, I think at Spencer's or something. And I started wearing it, and then Lucy Loves Belts came out with a chain wallet, and I started wearing the chain wallet. Like I was looking for a chain wallet for a while. It was super hard to find, like a nice one. And then Lucy started making them, and yeah, I don't know. I guess I just kind of like, I don't know, got a little like goth, I guess. I don't even know what happened. It's like I don't even listen to that type of music. I just like started to like the aesthetic of the chain, and I don't know.
It was funny, like seeing. So let's talk about the Nike colorway, which isn't. I feel bad calling it a colorway because it's more than just like a colored swoosh. You know what I mean? Like a lot goes into those. Same way with Deshaun's shoe. It's like this isn't just purple and whatever color. Like you had a crazy light blue textile that you used for it, but then the really big part was that you did have a chain, which again is kind of funny because the aesthetic is like light white kind of girly colorway, but then has a chain which feels like a chain wallet gothy kind of, but it worked.
Yeah.
Like, I guess tell me about how that came to be. Did you just get an email or a phone call and they're like, hey, what do you think about doing a shoe? And you were like, holy.
Yeah, they texted me maybe. No. They invited me. I was already going to the headquarters for something, and they invited me and said, we want to have a meeting with you or whatever. And then in the meeting, they told me, we want to give you a colorway. So it was kind of like a surprise, but I kind of had a feeling that it was going to happen. So I had already pre-designed 2 different shoes. And then right when they said that to me, I like had my iPad, and I was like, this is what I'm thinking. Like,
the chain you already had planned?
Yeah, I already had the chain planned. The chain came to me. So I'd always, if I got a shoe, I'd always wanted to do all white leather with a light blue swoosh. For some reason, I always just like wanted that. And then like a couple months before they asked me, I came up with the chain idea for a shoe and the plaid swoosh as well. Cause I was like, I kind of feel like plaid's coming back. And like, I was starting to get into plaid. And I was like, I'd never really seen a plaid swoosh. And I was like, I also never seen a chain on a shoe. I just didn't think they were actually going to agree to the chain. I was like shocked that they actually were like, yeah.
They didn't have any pushback at all?
Not really, no. I think they were kind of maybe at first like, we'll see, the options. And I was like, I don't, if it's going to like look cheap or feel cheap, I don't want to do it. Might as well just like not do it.
Yeah.
But they sourced it and it worked out all good. But
in one sample, like was your first sample you got, you're like, this is perfect? Or
no, the first sample I didn't love because of the texture they used on the swoosh, and they also did like thick plaid. They kind of had this like weird plaid. I wanted like very thin line plaid like this.
Yeah.
So yeah, the first one wasn't it, and then I wanted more. Was it more tumbled leather? I was very specific about the leather. The leather is the same leather that was used in like the Ray Gun colorway and stuff, because I had skated those and I was like, this is like the best thing to skate. So I was like, I want that leather. And then I was like, I want more of like a fabric feeling swoosh, like something that feels like it's gonna like rip and fray kind of vibe. And I changed like the inside they had kind of more of like a mesh inside, and I changed it kind of like more silky blue. And I debated doing a color on the bottom for a while. Like I was either going to do light blue on the bottom, but then I just was like, I know a lot of people, they were like, it feels a little bit unfinished, but if this is how you want it, like we'll do it. Obviously, I think I would do things differently a little bit. Like now I'd probably make a black shoe with like a, like a neon green plaid swoosh or something. Like, I don't know. I'd probably do it differently. But I really just liked the simplicity of it all being white. Like, I know, like, sneakerheads don't really like that, but I was like, it's just gonna, like, go with everything. My mom can wear it. My, like, grandma could wear it. Or, like... Does
your grandma wear it with the chain?
She
would be fly.
Yeah. I've had grandparents in it, for sure. Yeah, so I kind of just had this idea in my head. And then, I knew from the start that I wanted to, like, make it a community event, or like, like I had all this vision for it with the car and like the friends in my car, and I just kind of like I had all of these things planned and pitched it to them to like try to get as much out of it as I could, kind of thing.
Well, and I think it worked. Everyone was talking about it. Especially, like I said, the chain thing just being something that no one had seen before. I think it was kind of everywhere. Did you get to keep that sample?
I have samples. Sick. I think
one of one.
I ended up having 3 samples. So I must have the first sample. I might have the first sample. And I have samples with the light blue on the bottom. So like,
are you allowed to post any of that stuff? Because people
I don't know.
would love
I
to
could
see
ask him. Yeah, I should maybe post it.
That would be a dope little carousel to be like, here's the final, but these were the other ones or whatever.
Yeah, I should. Yeah. So I definitely have all the samples. And it was like, they were so easy to work with. Like, shout out to Nike SB, because they were just like so easy to work with. Like, they really just let me do whatever I want. Like, it was kind of crazy, honestly.
Well, it's funny because, and we won't talk about Nike for a long time, but growing up, like, I remember when Nike came into the industry and there was like all this hate, and a lot of it was behind the like, well, no one's getting a pro shoe. Like, you know what I mean? It was like everything's just too corporatized and too like streamlined because it's like sport, you know, versus like every pro had their own pro model shoe on Fallen and Etnies in America and like, whatever, all the brands. And now all these years later, you're seeing the coolest come as like capsules and everything from Nike. It's like they're giving one person at a time, but they're giving one person a platform to be like, let's really do something different that hasn't been seen before. That doesn't necessarily have to appeal to the masses either.
Exactly.
And it's not like it's going to be made forever. It's like, we're going to pick this moment in time and make something really unique and cool. What was the other design you had prepped?
I had an all black high top. I wanted to call it the inverted dunk. And it was going to be like the inverse colors of the white and blue. So it'd be black, and it was actually neon green. I think I had like plaid swoosh. And it would have no chain. And I just wanted to call it the inverted dunk. I tried it because Oski had 2 colorways.
I loved Oski's shark one.
Yeah, so good. So he had the shark and the blazer. So I was like, you know what? Shoot for the moon. I'll see if they'll give me 2. But then they were like, we'd like to do the low top, like blue one, white and blue one. So we ended up just doing that, which was fine.
It's going to be funny when you see sneakerheads with that shoe, like reselling them in 20 years or whatever.
Right? I know. It is crazy. It is like, at first when you're doing it and you're like putting all this effort into designing it and like the creative process, and you forget what you're actually doing and like how long it's going to last in a weird way. And then, when it's finally happened and it's done, I'm like, whoa, this is actually so crazy. Like, for like my whole life, I could like see someone in a shoe I designed for Nike. Is insane, actually.
I mean, that's kind of like as far as having a pro model anything.
Yeah.
Not to like discount having your pro model sunglasses. That's dope. Or like having the board that Nora did the graphic for. Like that's rad. Yeah. But having your own Nike Dunk.
It's crazy.
Like that's going to be something the rest of your life that you're like, that's still so dope that I got to do, because there's very few people that get to do that. You know what I mean? Like not many people get to do something like that with Nike, even within the skateboarding community. So your ACL tear was after that, right?
It was right before my Dunk came out, actually. It was, I tore my ACL in July. My Dunk came out in December of that year, of 2024.
With all the horror stories you hear about pros back in the day when they have a major injury, were you afraid to tell your sponsors and stuff what happened?
I was not excited to tell them, but I knew, like, I feel like skateboarding's in a different time and they value, you know, like people a lot more, and it's less about like push. Like, you know, there's so much like more mental health awareness and like more just awareness in general of like not pushing people to like points where it's like not even fun or like healthy, you know?
Yeah.
So I was more just like so sad because I knew I had actually just planned a whole trip to like Bilbao, Spain and stuff for my Nike colorway that I was supposed to go on.
Cool.
So like I just planned it with my team manager, went on a Spitfire trip, tore my ACL, and then like, yeah, I texted them and was like, you know, obviously really sad. I was like bummed I was going to miss that trip more than anything. And like, I also was just like, how, like, I wanted to film for my colorway. I wanted to do all these things. And like, I guess kind of my whole world was like flipped upside down a little bit because I was like, I'm not even going to be able to like I have to get surgery. I'd never had surgery. Yeah. And I just know how long the recovery is for ACL. So yeah, I was like really bummed. I was like immediately like, why is this happening kind of thing. Like, yeah. I mean, I'm definitely a person that's like accepts what's going on and like, okay, what does this mean? What do I have to do? You know? So I was already kind of in that mindset, but I was also just like, oh my God, like as if I like tear my ACL right before my dunk comes out. Like that's not fun. So it was, yeah. But Nike's always been so kind with like injury. Every time, you know, it's not my first time being hurt, but every time they're like, take your time, like don't rush it. So yeah, luckily there's really good people over there. Like,
well, and again, just through social media and everything else, there's so much more to being a pro skateboarder now than there used to be. Mm-hmm. Before it was like, you better have a good part in the video when it drops because you only got one part every 3 years. Mm-hmm. And if you can't produce that, it's kind of a big problem. Or if you can't, you know, produce in X Games because it's the only contest, it's kind of a big problem for sponsors. But now, honestly, I feel like when people are injured, sometimes that's good for them because they're sitting there with creative time to be like, oh, I'm going to like work on some art stuff or design this thing or film some skits with my friends. Or like, I remember when Davis Torgerson a long time ago got really hurt, he filmed a whole video that he did. Like he had a friend do the artwork for, but he was like the cinematographer for a video with all these pros like Chris Cole and all these people in it.
Yeah.
So and that wouldn't have happened except the fact that he was injured. So he's like, cool, I guess I'll spend time doing a little something else. So what was I guess I was trying to find the injury. Did you ever post it? Is it that little like nose block where you fell? Like, how did you tear the ACL?
There's no, there's footage of it, but I didn't post it. I posted like a screen grab of kind of like my face doing it. But I was just on a freaking board slide, dude. It's like literally so stupid.
On like a skate park rail or on
no, on a, thank God, not a skate park rail. It was on a spot. So it was actually, we were skating. Pedro Delfino was skating this like gnarly hubba, like ride on grind to hubba thing. And we were out of college in Colorado. And my friend Haley, who's on Real also, was like, there's like a perfect, because we've been looking for like a board slide rail for me. I've never like street board slid anything. Sure. So we were looking for one. She was like, there's a perfect one like over there. So we went over there and it was like tall and steep. Like it was tall and steep. And I was like, this is not the perfect rail. But I ended up getting on it and was getting on it fine. Like I was like about to do it. Everyone was like, you're about to do your first board slide. Like I was like so gonna roll away. And then I just kind of like, I don't know what happened. I stuck a little bit. And then the way I landed, my like foot slid out, and they call it like a pivot glide tear when your like foot slides and then like your femur and your tibia or whatever like hit and tear it. So it was just kind of random. I kind of think my ACL was already pre-torn from jumping over my truck. I don't know if you saw that clip.
Yeah, and you bailed into it and dented it.
Yeah, exactly. So I think like I already kind of, because I was dealing with like issues in the like arch of my foot. And like my knee was also hurting before that trip. So I honestly think it was already pre-tore, and I think the board slide just like fully tore it. Wow. I just didn't know it was like tore because I think my foot was hurting so bad I wasn't really paying attention. I also think the way I landed, I kind of like was trying not to land on my foot so hard. So like my knee maybe took most of it. I don't know. I got a lot of theories about it, but
steep rails will do that. I only have one street handrail that I've ever done, which was like a little 6-stair rail, because like when we were filming our shop videos, I was like, I gotta do one,
Yeah,
even though
yeah.
like I had not skated stairs in 10 years. It was like, I'm just skating little manual pads and stuff, but I gotta get a handrail clip.
Yeah.
So I board slid a little 6-stair rail, but because it was like easy enough to get on was because it was so steep. And I tried it for like over an hour of just like shooting into the ground. Like that by far, just being able to like catch yourself through that is the hardest part of that. Okay. So when was the moment where you came back from your ACL where you actually felt confident in your knee? Because I know a lot of times people are dipping their toes in for a long time.
Still waiting for that day.
Really?
No, I don't know. It's like been a roller coaster a little bit. I would say I felt really confident. We went on a loop road trip and went up to Vancouver, and I started to gain more trust in it. I was doing, like padless frontside airs and doing other stuff that like I was like, oh, it's good. But at that time I was doing still in the gym like 4 times a week. Like I think it's about how like I think for a while I'm still going to have to be on the gym, and I think I kind of like floated away from that September to like honestly like still trying to get more on a gym routine because I've just been moving all over the country and kind of moving locations. But I would say yeah, it took me like I still feel I don't know, not the same. I would say my body doesn't feel the same because it's like my other knee is now compensated, so it's like this knee hurts and my ACL knee hurts because it doesn't like have the same protection because I had a lot more muscle like in September, so
Sure.
I felt really good in September and October, but now I don't feel as confident. I wouldn't say it's
Sure.
still a little scary. I was even playing pickleball with my dad yesterday, and I was like. Still, yeah, it's just hard to trust it again. I think that's like gets in your head a little bit, I just never want it to happen again. So it's like if I even like think about it, it's just like I don't know. It takes a long time to undo it.
And the knee brace is just not part of the swag. You're not gonna rock one of those.
And I don't think it's like I wear a compression sleeve. I wear like knee compression sleeves on both of my knees.
Underneath the pants so no one sees.
Yeah, underneath the pants. A lot of skaters do that. You'd actually be surprised. It's actually, you're 30% less likely to tear something in your knee if you're wearing compression
Really?
sleeves. Yeah. I was wearing the compression sleeve when I tore my knee, but a lot of people tear their ACL and they tear other things. I didn't tear anything else besides my ACL. So I don't know if it helped or what. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's just like all of life, you go through different periods where you feel really confident and then you don't, and I don't know, I'm kind of like in a stage right now where I'm like still learning to trust my skating again, I think.
Sure, but you're trusting your whole brand because you started Loop with your friends.
Yes.
Tell me about that. Everyone has a hardware company. Why'd you do that?
We just kind of wanted to get the whole team, like our whole homies together.
It's like have an excuse for it.
Yeah, really, it was just like an excuse to like do something fun together.
Yeah.
It wasn't supposed to be serious. It feels a little bit more serious now because all these skate shops are hitting us up and like asking to like order stuff, which is so awesome. But it's like, oh my God, now it's like we have to fulfill, and that's kind of the part that is a little bit more scary and serious, I think, than we thought it was going to be.
Because you don't have a permanent house location with a garage.
Yeah,
so.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And we all are traveling all the time and whatnot.
So who's in charge of shipping them?
We all kind of are. So me and Fabi, we all kind of ship. Me, Fabi, and Dayana is her name. We call her Tweaks, but her real name's Dayana.
So if you're on a trip, they're just not going to get shipped.
Yeah, so we have in our website a disclosure, like, you know what, we're all like busy. This is our side thing, So we say like 10 to 12 days of ship, but we've been really good. I doubt anyone's waited for more than a couple weeks.
Sure.
It's probably like, there's some people that have waited a couple weeks for stuff, but we've been pretty on it. But yeah, it really just started out, it's like something we talked about in 2021, I want to say. And we're all in San Diego, and I still live in San Diego, and we like threw a party and left it, or we invited someone everywhere and left it. So Loop stands for left our own party. And it's kind of funny too, because it's like, yeah, we kind of like, in a way, we're like doing our own little like sponsor for ourselves and like having all our homies on it. Like we're leaving this party of like mainstream sponsorship and like just like having our own thing. Yeah, I don't know. It kind of just brings everyone we want to skate with together, and that's kind of the idea. And
So who funded the filming trip and the video? Was it just all out of pocket, or were you like, we're going to start a bank account for Loop and this is what's going to pay for it?
so Fabi and I paid for a lot of it. We also asked for $200 from each rider to cover.
You got to pay to ride for us.
Yeah, you gotta pay to ride for us. And then we also got, like Nike paid for our hotel in Portland, Spitfire paid for our hotel in San Francisco, Monster paid for our Airbnb in Vancouver. So we got a lot of it paid through our own sponsors. So like, hey, we're doing this. This is our itinerary. We're going here. So yeah, that was super helpful. But yeah, it was a lot of out of pocket. Out of pocket for from the homies as well. So shout out to them for that. But it was worth it. It was like an 11-day trip. They only had to pay $200. I don't know. So it was a pretty good deal. Got some clips, had fun, and yeah, that's kind of we're just funding it ourselves right now, mostly. Just I don't know. But I don't even know what it like. We're not that official. We need like a bank account and stuff, but we're like not that official because, like I said, it just kind of is like. It's a classic thing that you do where you're like, oh, it'll be fun. It'll be chill. It won't even be that hard. It's like when I started the podcast too, I felt the same way. I was like, it'll be easy.
Yeah. Or when Jamie
like,
Thomas just started making 0 t-shirts and then it got out of control.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? What
you
are
just never know.
Do you have plans with Loop to do like colorways or whatever for like the different riders or
I
not really?
think that's kind of like something that we would be down to do, or like t-shirts or like capsules or something for the team riders. Yeah, that's definitely something we're interested in.
Well, I think brands like see the value because of things like GX1000.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They see the value in not necessarily it being their trip because they don't have to fund the whole thing, but
Exactly.
their brands and stuff are still being represented and shown. Okay, so you mentioned the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Most people started a podcast during the pandemic. Not me, I was prior.
Yeah.
But a lot of people started,
Yeah.
during the because they couldn't travel or whatever. But why was it? Did you start it while your ACL was torn and you're like, I don't know what I'm doing?
Yeah, I started too many creative projects while my ACL was turned, and now
Yeah.
I have to keep up with them. So yeah, I started Loop Hardware with the ACL, started this podcast, No Big Deal podcast. And it was like something I'd wanted to do anyways. And then, yeah, I tore my ACL and I was like, okay, well, maybe this is just like more of a sign to just do it.
What made you want to do it? Was it when you went on the 9 Club and you're like, this is wild? Because that in itself is like a big accomplishment within skateboarding. That is the biggest platform for that type of thing. It's like the entire skateboarding world wants to listen to me.
Yeah.
Like, that's a big deal.
No, it was a big deal. I think it definitely like turning pro for real had, like put me on that level to do that, I would say. So yeah, I it wasn't because of the 9 Club. It was really, I listened to a lot of comedian podcasts. Like I love the Nikki Glazer podcast. I love the Chelsea Handler podcast. I love like girly, funny comedian podcasts. And I just was like, my thought behind it is like, I want to, even though mine's not really like that, I think I might grow into being a little bit more like less
funny.
skateboarding and more like, yeah, maybe I'll grow to be more funny. Just more like, more funny, gossipy type of podcast or something eventually. Yeah. But I don't know. My idea was pretty much like, I want to give like this to skateboarding a little bit from like a female's perspective and from pro to pro perspective, I think is kind of cool. And just a lot of these people are my friends. So it's like creates this different dynamic where like, it's like we're talking to each other more casually than if it's like a traditional interview, So yeah. I feel like I wanted to create something that was a little more chill, like, and just didn't feel as much like interviewing.
Like this.
Yeah. Well,
but no, I mean, when you're in that position, it's like you're more comfortable asking for more embarrassing stories and whatnot.
Exactly.
And like the type of conversation that comes out is a little bit different. For me, it's like I have to get to know the person kind of throughout the conversation.
Yep.
And based on how that goes, then sometimes I'll push in one direction or another, but there's not that comfort level off the rip because we don't know each other the vast majority of the time.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Exactly. That was the idea too. It's like, I've already been on a lot of trips with these people. I've known them for years. I know some of their funniest stories. I like kind of know where to pry, and they also like know me and trust me. They know I'm not just gonna like put out something that's like they don't want out or whatever, So I feel like there's like a different sort of connection in the podcast that I was like, I feel like this hasn't exactly been done yet in skateboarding, and it would be just, I don't know, something to give a shot to.
Did you feel a lot of pressure, even though you're good friends with Alyssa? Did you feel pressure that like, this is a big guest for a first episode?
Yeah, I did. I was pretty nervous actually. But I mean, she's so chill, and like I've been on so many trips with her, and it was super easy to talk to her. But I wish I would have asked her more questions. I might have to do a Alyssa part 2. But yeah, I was definitely nervous. And it's just like, you know how it is. It's just like, it's on you to like make the podcast or like, you know, to like make it a podcast. So I was just like not sure what I was doing really, but it worked out. And yeah, I was hyped that she agreed to it. I also wasn't sure if she was going to agree to it. Sure. And then I also always like edit the podcast and I am like, do you want to hear it? She's like, nah, it's fine. Like, you did fine.
She's like, there's footage of me from many years ago that's embarrassing. Yeah. I'm not too worried about it.
Exactly.
Yeah, she seems super rad. So when's Nora going to have an episode? I feel like
I want to get Nora on the episode. Yeah, I was maybe going to do her when I was just in LA, but I was just too busy that I didn't end up getting time to do one with her. But I would love to do it with Nora. I'm really weird about it. It's like I don't want it to be on. I want it to be in person.
Yeah.
So course. Like. It's hard because she has the Good Luck Pod now that she does, and they do a lot of like online interviews, but I'm like trying to keep mine more in person. But she's coming to New York, so maybe I'll actually try to get her to do that while I'm in New York.
Yeah, honestly, like I don't do virtual interviews at all.
Yeah.
And I've gone very far out of my way to do it that way. And I've turned down a lot of really cool interviews or like put people on the back burner of like, we'll get to it one day when we can be like, I'm trying to think of somebody offhand. Like Jamie Thomas said he would do it. Yeah. But like, I'm not going to do it virtually. So I'd have to figure out a time. And the last time I went to California, he ended up going camping with his son. So it didn't work out. Yeah. You know what I mean? Exactly. But it's like, but virtually really for how much time you have to put into editing and everything else. Yeah. Virtual is not fun enough to make up for the work that goes into it. Yeah. Where it's like, I don't want to do it. So what are your goals with it? Is it going to be just fully a side thing when you feel like it? Because it's been extremely sporadic.
Yeah. I think it's probably just going to be a side thing for now. Yeah. Until I like my career settles down a bit or just my life in general. I moved out of LA and I moved to Miami for 3 months and now I'm in New York for 4 months. I'm kind of on this like eat, pray, love year of just like figuring out where I want to be, what I want to do. And I just feel like changes in my life happening. I think just like, yeah, I mean, I've done so much in skateboarding, so many opportunities and so many things that I didn't think I would ever do. I feel like really satisfied with a lot of things. Like, I don't know. I just feel in kind of a space where I'm like, what am I going to do next? So I think like the podcast will be something that maybe I pick up more in the next couple of years. But I do want to do, my goal to do like 6 a year would be fine. Like, from March to March, because that's when my podcast started. So I think I put out 3 this year. I got to do 3 more. And yeah, it's definitely sporadic. Like at first I thought I would do more, but then just I had so many life changes and so much stuff happened and I want to move and do this. So I was kind of like, I don't know. I'm not going to put that much pressure on it. But it's something that will always be there, you know, and like maybe it'll change and maybe I'll do it more often or maybe I'll do solo pods or something. Like, I don't know. I haven't really figured it out, but it's definitely sporadic. And every time I see like someone that listens to it, they're like, please do another pod. I'm like, when I feel like it.
That's kind of the best way to do it is when you don't have the pressure. Yeah. But you put the pressure upon yourself by interviewing your favorite skateboarder, Grant Taylor, in front of people where there's an audience to watch for Nike as like.
We're killing it right now. Like, are we?
That's a big thing to like commit and want to do when you're really not established in that particular thing.
Yeah, it was big. It was really random too. I was in LA and I was getting ready to move to Miami for 3 months. Like I kind of roguely signed a sublease. Like I just was like, I'm leaving LA. And I got a call from the new TM Daniel from Nike, and he was like, hey, what are you doing? And I was like, oh, I'm just like packing up my life. I'm moving to Miami. He was like, oh, did anyone tell you about like coming up to headquarters next week? And I was like, no. No one told me. It was like Thursday and he was talking about like Monday, Tuesday. And I was like, no, but like, I mean, what's going on? He was like, oh, we're doing, you know, this like flying all the skate shops in, like top selling 50 skate shops or whatever. And he was like, would you want to interview them for your podcast? Like Grant, it was supposed to be Grant and like Deshaun and one other person was going to be like on who I would be interviewing. And I was like, I mean, I guess, but it was like 5 days notice, and they're like, we'll like send you questions or whatever. And I was like, okay, that sounds like, I don't know if I'll love the questions, but I was also so busy like packing up my life, you know? So I kind of just like let it slide, flew to Portland, and then they're like, it's actually only Grant now. And I'm like, okay, that's actually like better. Like, honestly, it'd be hard to interview 3 different people at the same time. So they sent me the questions over for Grant, and they were like honestly so bad, like just like so kind of corny. Like, I don't want to ask Grant Taylor these questions. Like, so I got up at like 5 a.m. and wrote like for like 2 hours and wrote him a bunch of questions. And then, I swear in the beginning they told me it was going to be in front of like 500 people, and I was like, this is going to be insane. But it was only like 100 or something like that, or 75. So it was like all very last minute, and I don't know, sometimes I work best like that when I don't have time to think about it and I just have to do it. So it was a lot of pressure, but I've been in a couple situations where I've had to speak in front of like thousands of people or whatever it's been. So I kind of trust myself a little bit, but it was nerve-wracking to do an interview in front of live people. It was definitely nerve-wracking, but I was like, you know what, I don't know, every time I've had to do something like that, it's just like skating or doing anything, every time you have to push yourself to like a level you've never been, it just helps you grow, and like then you just trust yourself the next time. Like now I'm like, okay, I've done that once, I can do it again, you know?
So when was the last time you really pushed yourself on a trick that gave you that feeling?
That gave me that feeling, I would say, I don't know, I just learned backside nose blunts, and I feel like I just tried it at a spot that wasn't that hard of a spot, I don't feel like, but...
The one you posted for
yeah, I just like did that on a spot. I mean, that feels good.
How long did that take?
That took me too long. I was actually so mad how long it took. I actually don't really even love how I did it now that I'm thinking about it. But that's like the most recent thing that I've learned that I was like, it made me feel like I was doing something, like I was actually like progressing somehow.
Sure.
But probably that, I guess. But that took me way too long. I really don't like how I did it. The fence in the back, like the way I kind of stall them, I'm like stall a lot on the deck. So like my tail kept getting hooked on the fence, and I actually had like world's greatest freak out there. I was like throwing my board. I was like spazzing out. I was like, I can't believe I can't do this nose blunt. And
even though you had never done a back nose blunt.
I know. I was like, I'd done it on like at a skate park, but I hadn't done it like at a whatever, and I just learned it. So that's something I'm pretty hyped on.
So what are your favorite 3 tricks from your career?
Whoa. I would say my boneless, which is my ender and gassed up.
You did that so perfect.
Thanks.
A lot of times when people land in that, then they have to like tic-tac slightly to like change direction, but you were like perfect thread the needle the way you landed.
Yeah, I was stoked. Yeah, I think that was my 3rd time going back there, or my 4th, and like I just couldn't get myself to commit to just land on the board. Like it took me so long to just like commit to landing on the board, which was really frustrating. So that's definitely one that sticks out. I would say my invert to fakie in the Please Don't Grab My Boob video, it's called elbow, and it was so hard to skate. I don't know how I didn't invert fakie in there. And I was pretty stoked on that at the time. That was like pretty progressive for me.
And the painting of the bowl makes it look cooler.
Yeah, no, the graffiti, I love doing spots with the graffiti.
Yeah.
And I would say, gosh, what else? I don't know. I guess one thing that's sticking out to me is I did a padless invert in some terrible pants at Lower Bob's. And that was like the first time I'd done like a padless invert on something legit. And I think, that was like...
Do you remember which video that was?
Yeah, that was in Gizmo.
Sick.
The Gizmo video, yeah.
I just rewatched all your parts, but I can't say that I recall every single trick offhand. So I'll have to go back and watch it.
Yeah, no worries.
You've been working on your kick flips.
I've been working on my flat ground in general. Almost did a back side flip the other day.
Dude,
Yeah.
it's on its way. You just got to do
Yeah.
them over hips first, so that way you don't have to quite turn them.
Yeah, see, I've done it over a hip,
Yeah.
but I just don't even feel like that counts.
No, not really.
yeah.
It's like when people do full cabs like that, and you're like,
Yeah.
it's like slightly over a half cab. So, what's your favorite kickflip that you've done, and which skateboarder has the best kickflip?
My favorite kickflip that I've done. I guess I did a kickflip to fakie on vert, like not very high up, but that might be like my favorite kickflip I've done. It was in like a online contest for exposure when COVID was going on. I did a kickflip to fakie.
Cool.
And I won like the best trick for it.
Wow. How far from the vert was it? Like how far from the coping?
I probably got my front, like half my board above the coping.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I got it above the coping, but it wasn't like back wheels above the coping, which I would like to do. So yeah, we'll say that. Who's got the best kickflip? There's a lot of good kickflips out there. I really like Haley Wilson's kickflip. She's got a really good, like, I love a kickflip with like authority. Like, you know, they just
She's
like
got power.
Yeah, like I don't know. I really like how she does her kickflips. I would say she's got one of the best for sure.
I assumed you were going to throw Grant out there with how he can tweak his, but
Yeah, true. Well,
okay, so I asked Chaz this, and this clip did well, and I've been seeing stories skateboarding sharing it, so I'll ask you as well. What is the Mount Rushmore of skateboarding?
the Mount Rushmore of skateboarding. Oh my God. Grant Taylor, for sure. Marissa Del Santo. John Cardiel. Oh God, I'm so stressed. Ryan's gonna hate me. Ryan Sheckler. No, I'm just kidding. I'm gonna say Peter Hewitt.
That's a unique list.
Yeah, I know, right?
That's sick,
all
though.
over the.
There's
it's
a lot
all over the
a
place.
lot of style involved in that. Marissa is a legend. For real though, when I saw her zero part, I had never seen a girl skater like do anything like that.
Yeah,
it was
so
like
sick.
so far beyond what and no shade on Vanessa Torres, but it was so far beyond the last like woman's pro part that I had seen that I was like, what the dude,
Yeah.
she's so good.
Definitely.
Okay, you have some pretty good drip. Which
Sometimes.
three skaters have the best style as far as fashion goes in skateboarding?
Ashad. Deshaun Jordan has good style too.
I really wish that you can feel the feeling.
Can I say Grant Taylor? Like I also like think it's really sick like how when people just dress like with their own style, you know? Like
Yeah.
I don't know.
You're not a fan of Alex Olsen's all white with the pigtail?
All white with the pigtails. Oh my God, I forgot about that.
He was crushing it. Okay, you have one of the more iconic slams that we talked about. What are the three most iconic slams in skateboarding history?
The three most iconic slams, obviously Jake Brown.
Yeah.
Do a lot of people say that one?
No, I've never asked anyone this question.
Oh.
I'm asking it because of your
'Cause
iconic
I have
slams.
a lot of slams.
Yeah, but that is the first slam I thought of.
Yeah, Jake Brown slam is obviously a crazy one. Hard to with all the slams I've taken, it's hard to remember all the other slams that people are taking. Nora has a Hall of Meat from Please Don't Grab Your Boot video. That one's pretty iconic to me. I remember seeing that and like thinking, is she gonna be okay? But she kind of has like cat-like reflexes. That one's pretty legendary. There's also one of Peter Hewitt where he's like, it's an old vert clip and he like does like a frontside 540 and then like goes off the side of the ramp like after he lands it or something. That one's pretty crazy. I think that
was three.
I think that's a thing also. I hope that's like a real thing that I didn't just make up in my head. But I'm pretty sure that's a clip on YouTube.
I always think of Ardo Sari when he like hit his head on that rail back in like the flip day or whatever, and he
Okay.
threw up everywhere, and then the paramedics had to like pick him up.
Yeah.
And then that Jeff Rowley slam where he like clips over that like bump and he's just like clearly totally out of it.
Yeah.
Those were raw. I'm not one of those people that like liked to watch Hall of Meats or anything.
Yeah.
But
I
with
know.
you,
I used to like when I was a kid. I used to like watching Hall of Meats, and now I'm kind of just like.
After tearing your ACL,
Yeah.
you're like,
After
I'm not about
everything, yeah, it's just like I don't need any more stuff in my brain of what bad can happen.
it. Okay, top 3 video parts ever.
Top 3 video parts ever. God, I'm so bad at these questions. I'm like, wish I was more of a skate nerd. Let's do Grant Taylor, Welcome to Antihero. Let's do Fabiana Delfino Santa Cruz part. It's really sick.
That one I was waiting for so long.
So sick.
Well, because like usually like the part comes out when they go pro. And I remember when she went pro, I was like, well, I've never seen a video part.
Yeah,
when is
yeah.
this coming?
Yeah.
And eventually it came and I was like, it was worth the wait.
Yeah, it's so
Yeah.
sick. Her skating, like, yeah, she's one of my favorite skaters, honestly. And let's see. There's like a Mason part that I really like. I just can't remember what it's called.
The red balloon or whatever it was called.
I like his Take a Lap part.
You know what's funny with him is Miles Silvis and him kind of came up at the same time. And I feel like Miles Silvis got way more love than Mason did earlier on in his career. And I remember being in my shop saying to somebody one time, I was like, man, it's so unfortunate for Mason that his name is so similar.
Right.
Because Miles Silvis is so good.
Yeah.
And then a couple years later, Mason just goes on a tear and I'm like, forget Miles Silvis. And then Miles Silvis does another one. But you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I
they
was
kind of
just like,
alternated. I know their names are so close. huh?
yeah. And they're both so good.
Yeah, they are so good.
Okay, so we did talk about what's next a little bit, but what else should people be looking on the lookout for? They can go follow you, by the way, at it's just Nicole Hause, which is
Hause.
Hause.
Yep.
But what should people be looking out for?
Yeah, the new Thunder truck came out, so look for that in skate shops.
And on your Instagram, so they can see this back nose blunt we talked about.
Yeah, on my Instagram, see some little clips on there. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just like gonna be moving around the country all year, so just follow me on Instagram.
Just
see
vibing.
what I'm doing. Yeah, I'm just vibing. I'm in New York till October, and then I might go visit Haley in Australia, and yeah, I don't know, just kind of venture around. So
No video parts in the works or anything?
I don't have anything specific happening right now, but I would like to film something specific again, like. I don't know.
I mean,
feel
you've
like
had tricks and a bunch of things.
Yeah,
but
I've had like a lot of stuff spread out everywhere lately. I would say since my real video, well, since kind of gassed up, I would like to work on something again. I feel like I'm ready to start working on something. So we'll see.
Do you have any stipulations with Nike or any of your brands as far as like you got to get at least 10 clips a year? There's no conversations with that stuff?
No. Doesn't seem like it, not so far. I feel like once they notice you starting to slack off, then they would probably say something. But for the most part, I think if you're just like doing it, you're doing it. I don't know, like
Sick.
as long as you're doing your Instagram and like have clips and videos and like showing up when they need you to show up, like
Yeah.
I think that's like most of it,
Well, you've been doing your thing. Like I said, with the loop and everything else, it's like there are plenty of eyes on what you're doing, even if it isn't specifically a Nike part or specifically a real part or whatever. Like there are people that kind of fade. You have not faded. You're right in the prime of your career.
Yeah.
Okay, so I ask this question at the end of every episode, and you can take a minute to think about it if you need to. When you do something you're passionate about for a living, you get to have really unique experiences. They are what make all the hard work worth it. They're not usually money related. What's one story you can share?
Gosh, I've had so many like experiences that I never thought I would have, kind of, from skating. I don't know. Now you just made me think about basketball. I sat courtside at the Lynx game with my dad, which was
Sick.
like really cool because he used to bring me to the Lynx game when I was like 14, 15. I saw them win the championship. And then, yeah, I got courtside tickets for us and I got to go on the court and stuff. And I thought that was really cool. Outside of skating kind of vibe. Also went to Paris Olympics, I guess,
Sick.
which was like crazy to just like be able to go there with Nike. And
Even though
just
you
like-
weren't an alternate or anything, right? They were just
No.
like, yeah, come with,
Yeah,
support
so-
the crew.
Yeah, they pretty much had like a bunch of skaters out there just to like, we had a little event, but my ACL was torn, so I didn't even skate it or anything. But yeah, we just had all these like lunches and dinners and hung out around Paris. And like, yeah, I don't know. A couple experiences like that, just like through Nike, that like puts you in a different place that you're like, didn't think you would, you know. I don't know. I don't know if that really answers your question.
And now you're in
though.
a video game.
Yeah, I guess that's crazy too. Yeah, my board graphic being in a video game is crazy. Like, yeah, I mean, I used to play Tony Hawk Underground Pro Skater, be in the basement of like a warehouse and play Johnny Cash over and over again and just like grind that game, you know? So to have a pro model board in it is really crazy too. And like all the real skaters on, you know, on the team, and they picked my board to have on there, which is really cool. Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like I've had so many, like, that's what I would just say is like, you never know where your passions are going to bring you or like what's going to happen or, you know, I don't know. You just kind of have to go with the feeling of like wanting to do that. And yeah, I don't know. I guess like when I was younger, I just knew I loved skateboarding. That's what I wanted to do. And like, I didn't think about like, oh, I'm going to get all this stuff or I'm going to, you know, go all these places. But like, that's just like what happens when you follow your passion, when you're in the right place at the right time. You like get all these opportunities and you just feel like so grateful for them. So I feel like that's what's happened to me the past like 13 years is I've just like followed like truly what I like feel like doing and what I want to do. And then like that leads you to like places you never thought you would go.
Yeah, I interviewed this bass guitarist, and he said he's based his entire career off of what feels cool.
Yeah.
He goes, that feeling, he's like, you know that feeling where you see something and you go, cool.
Yeah.
He's like, that's what I follow when I make decisions. And he's
Yeah.
like, and it's worked.
Yeah, exactly.
Sick.
No, it's so true. Like, yeah, I think you just gotta like do what feels right to you. And there's so many people out there, like, I mean, so many people in my high school that would just be like, I didn't know this is what you were gonna do. Like, you know, like I didn't know this is what you want to do. And it's like, I didn't even know I wanted to do what I'm doing now. I just like knew I loved skateboarding. I knew that if I followed that and like felt good in that I would make something out of it, you know?
Yeah.
Didn't really know what it was going to look like, but I like the way it looks now for sure.
Yeah. Well, again, thank you so much. Everyone's got to go follow you on the social media. Also follow the No Big Deal Pod.
Yeah.
Stay tuned with all the stuff that's going to be happening with that, because eventually your career is going to transition to doing all kinds of different things outside of skateboarding. It already has. So people can follow along and support you in that kind of way. You can go Passion Pod anywhere. If you Google it, it'll pop up. YouTube's the best platform. Social media, I'm on every single platform. So people can go over there. Yeah. That's it.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of The Passion Pod. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. We'll see you soon.